People want a good story, and they're complaining about it incessantly, which brings me to my next thing that I want to say. People want to be programmed. They want to be told how to think, feel, and live. And if they have a story that they like, and you tell me a story, I want a story, give me another program me, condition me, socially engineer me, and then they do, okay, we'll give you a Star Wars story. Yeah, I want one. I'm old, I'm senile, I need a Star Wars story, tell me one. And you tell them one, and they say, that's not my story. Where's Luke and Han and Captain Picard and Kirk and all those guys? And like, this isn't a Star Trek story, this isn't a Star Wars story. I don't know who Ray is. The janitor, the stormtrooper janitor, get the flip out of here with this shit. There's nothing. So people want to be programmed and want stories, and they know when they're not being told a good story. Because what people are looking for in stories, all of them, is how to be and how to live. Every story is the hero's journey, because every story, like, men and women are a little different. They talk about it all the time. Women want the character to, like, they think the character, like, what if it was me? And men are like, how do I get all these, how do I get, like, all the things in life, I guess. It's the same for women too. People watch movies and programs and they get programmed, but what they're looking for when anyone watches anything is some example of how to be in life. I don't know how else to say it. Like, when you watch a movie, you want to be like that guy, or you want to like that girl, or if you're a girl and you watch a movie, you want to be like that woman, or you want to like that guy, or you think he's a good man, or what if the woman's thinking, what if I could get that guy, or whatever in the movie. So when you watch movies, it's always the same thing. Men and women are basic. It's always things about men and women. One about how to be, or who to find, how to deal with what you got, as being one or the other. So all movies in some way are just about your sacred life journey, which is pretty basic. You're either going to grow up into be a man or a woman, or these days confused about that, and what you're supposed to do is pair up with somebody, find your lifelong monogamous mate. That's where there's chemicals, because science that are released from bonding, and I don't even like all that science stuff, but I'll use it against you because you love it so much, and I still get to win because of it. Chemicals are released for bonding that are supposed to connect men and women for a lifetime, and we know this is true. Why? Because of the gamification of life and getting to ultimate level of grandparent, or bonus stages of great grandparent, or best ending ever, great great grandparent. Where, when, what? With your monogamous mate right there along by your side, or are you surviving them at the end? At the end of it all. But the point is that you get there fully cognizant to tell people the world you lived in, and to help the younger generation in the next section coming up. You help your kids as a grandparent, and then you get to show them by example of where your kids are growing when they grow up and become parents. They get to be, someday they get to be grandparents, and it keeps the whole thing going. Do you get it? Okay, you need an example of who to be and who to find. Men and women coming together to bring the next generation here. And then what? Their kids grow up, and then they become grandparents. So they're learning, they're growing, they're getting older, they're learning about the different stages of life. And then when you get to the end of it, you get to pass what you learned down to the inheritors of all your stuff, or your real estate, or your land, or whatever. At least that's how it used to be. That's how it's supposed to be. Still can be. There's not too many of us here. We can't spread out. And if we did spread out, we wouldn't pollute the whole planet. They lied to us. It's the biggest lie. And the other lies are that men and women don't need each other. That's insane. We're literally made for each other. And when you mess people up so much that they don't want to be together anymore, that's when they have these weird options where you can pretend to be something that if it starts raining outside, obviously you're not. Because you being wet shows you for what you are, a man or a woman. Confused about that, and that's settled now. Okay, so let's move on. And it's respectfully settled too. Confusion is completely acceptable. The world's a doozy. It's a hand-me-down world. Everything was so here already when we got here, and now where are we? We're looking for answers. We want to know how to be, who to find, and what to do with it. And we used to get that from the family, and because of the tragedies and horrors of war, we'd lose people, but whoever was left would fill in the blanks. And now we don't really have families anymore, except for people who have huge families that they don't know and don't get along with, and everybody's cousins with each other, and they're like step siblings, and it's a big mess. all right? So we need to, like, people, every movie that you watch is telling you how to think. And what you're looking for is stuff that helps guide you through life. And people are complaining about movies right now because they're not any good. And they don't help you get through life because people know the formula of movies, even though they're bad programs, and they always were. Like Star Wars is never really good for you to grow up with. And you grew up with it and you can't let go of it. Mission accomplished. Social engineers win. Check. Star Wars room, you lose. But they also knew how Star Wars ended. It ended with the ending of the transhumanist saga. Darth Vader was a bad father. He was the dark father. He screwed up. And then the son, who's the new father because it's fathers and sons. That's kind of how family starts. There has to be a dad in there. He's supposed to shepherd over everyone. Star Wars, the saga of absentee fathers in space. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader resolve it, and Han Solo gets his act together and he gets to get married and have a wife with Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker saves the galaxy, and Dad sets everything right for everybody by saying, you know, Grandpa was wrong and I'm breaking the chain, and Luke's there to see it, and the saga of absentee fathers in space ends. So that's why when they bring Star Wars back, Brave New World Order social engineering programming conditioning tells you Han Solo's a deadbeat dad, Luke Skywalker left, and the women have to bear the burden of the world because they want you to. Divide and conquer. It's the only strategy that people who want to control populaces need. Separate the men from the women and don't let them pair up and stay together, because men and women who love each other and have bonded like that will do anything and fight any fight, and they'll win because God the Father favors them, because that's where we live. Planet Daddy issue. Call your father. Do they all have to be super long? No. People watch the episodes. People, I know, whatever you got, you got. Hey, you got that. Maybe you want to stretch it out, tie center block to your thing. You figure it out. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people want to know how to live, from every children and adults alike and everybody in between and even on the way out. They want things that resonate with them as true. And when they don't get it, you get people complaining. And now's the time when they want people complaining and they want them to, you know, make their own, help us create your cultural collapse. And it's working. And the young people are happy and the old people are miserable because the foundations of everything they worked so hard to build are crumbling, or whatever it is that they were enjoying is all going away. And, you know, boomers and ... and fill in the blanks, and the good guys and the bad guys. You decide. We're all people down here. They did this to all of us. So now we have this really great platform of all platforms online to change the world forever, and everybody have the ability to discern things for themselves. And then we know what the basics were, which is everything I keep giving you over and over and over again in my episodes. I've been doing this YouTuber since 2009, and I really started having fun with it and figuring out what it is that I wanted to do online in my global public access, that I could just, anybody could see these. And that's what I gave you. I wanted to unsocially engineer you and give you something that nobody could take away, even with beatings. The ability to discern what mattered. It's really simple. Men and women are everything to each other because that's what we are. And that's what we got when they take everything else away. We need each other. That's what we're here for. We're here for each other. And we need a new crop of movies coming up like never before that don't have anything to do with the establishment. All the successful ones are going to come from outside the establishment, because the inside the movies in Hollywood are already on to this next wave of, oh, they're going to be trad values and stuff. And that's all part of this agenda for one world religion worldwide. Look where the Pope sits. He's going to be your figurehead of ushering in some kind of like, hey, let's not fight anymore. Let's usher in globalization and destroy religion, because they've got one of their bad guys in there. And he is going to say, let's not fight anymore. Let's have one world religion. And you're going to get your rations. Where's my rations boxes? You're going to get your food in a box in the mail. You're going to get your blue rations. I can still show you these. I'm trying to figure out what I can still show you with all this YouTube censorship. Surely in my lounge I can show you blue rations. I can still do commercials for them too. I'm trying to figure out what my bits are again. I had a channel before, and with the censorship I'm trying to figure out how to hang in there. And now you know why. I want my planet back. I'm a total father's boy, but I want to be a man. I want to be one of the good guys. I want to be one of the many Z fighters. I'm tired of Hercule getting all the credit and leading everybody astray. Do you get this, cartoon people that have been raised on all this nonsense? Look, we're grown-ups here, and we want the same basic things. Now they're ruining the franchises anyway, so it's going to be pretty easy to put childish things away. And in its wake, instead, they want there to be a bunch of civil and social conflict and unrest. And don't worry, you got them. Where do you live? Some places it's worse than others. But here's what matters. It's the love of the ages. Men and women fighting for this planet back from a couple of evil, wealthy, elite families and all their class of social engineers and the people fearful that are within that think that this thing can never end, and they want it to end because they know and they're caught up in it. A lot of bad people were good people that did horrible things, and they degrade themselves, and they wish they lived in a world where they didn't have to be fearful or do evil things anymore. Let's help them not have to be evil anymore. I want this. I want it back. I want it all back. I want everybody back. I want to spread out. I'm tired of this pushing us closer together. I want it. I'm tired. Now is the time. We're heading into Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and they're moving fast. So they know that now is the time where people are going to pipe up. So they're going to try and beat us down with a pipe and shut us up on and censor us publicly, globally, from talking to each other on all platforms. Look at what they did. Google Hangouts was easy to use. They wanted you to use it, and they wanted it to be easy. And as soon as they didn't want you to talk to each other anymore, they took it away. And right before they took it away, a couple of years before they took it away, they started censoring people right before the elections, and I was one of those casualties. The elections don't matter. It's just, I don't want to get too big here. I want to stay focused. All your movies and TV shows were bad for you, and now you don't like them. They told you how to live and who to think and who you want to be like. I want to be cool like Bill Murray or Meryl Streep or whoever the girls are supposed to admire to be like. Whatever you're young, it would be like Billie Eilish and drool art supplies. Do songs, whatever. Nonsense. Nonsense. Don't be a skank. Don't even like those kind of girls. You're looking for pretty girls with trad valleys, don't wear makeup, and would never, ever do any kind of a video about it. Maybe they'd leave a comment in your videos that you make, and you're like, oh, wow. And you go, you fall in love with them. That's for you guys in the young generation. They didn't even let me read comments. All these supermodels trying to marry me, and they censor my comments. Don't worry, they found a way to get a hold of me. I have a whole onslaught of women that want to marry me, want me to be their big man. That's what you want. You can have that. I'm not even famous. They're totally trying to censor me. It's Extreme Narcissism TV. I got to throw some of the narcissism in there. I'm finding my oats again, and still trying not to curse. But yeah, people want movies. Enough about me and this channel. Okay? People want stories, and with good music. You got to make your own music, and you got to do the same stuff that Tavistock and your social engineers and all those weird guys that are making the sounds that people just like to listen to nowadays. And you got to figure out your own vaporwave connection or whatever it is, and make your movies and your stories, and they got to be good. I don't know who I'm talking to, but this is what we need. We need a love renaissance of lifelong monogamy. I want stories of superhero with no powers except the power of their love, of a man and woman together fighting the post-apocalyptic dystopian sci-fi. I've been working on a book for you guys. That's about. I'm doing a Scott and T thing. There you go. Spoiler alert. That's not a spoiler alert. That's a preview of what I'm going to try and get money from you for. Look, we need men and women to be together again. We really do. That's all there is. That's all what it would take. We have this great moment with all the technologies to go one way or the other, where we lose ourselves forever and it's completely just crushed, which wouldn't happen anyway. But they want to push us to that, and it's going to get really ugly. Or we have the ability to look at what's going on, and it gets ugly, but with like here's where we're going. It's great for all of us. And then all the mess that's going to come along, like it's going to be a mess, and there'll be people that try and subvert and subterfuge and sabotage and take it away. I mean, in America, when they gave the Declaration of Independence, one of the things Franklin, founder of the Hellfire Club, said right away was, hey, you guys got your freedom back. Let's see how long you keep it. That son of a bitch.